The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the residents of Greencastle, Eleuthera, questioning the policing strategy of the police in South Eleuthera. Residents on various social media platforms have expressed that they feel invisible when it comes to being heard. So is it a matter of classism, or have residents in the socially challenged area made themselves, through a number of recent shootings and violent acts, invisible? Speaking of invisible, where is the church? Some say it seems the church has given approval of a gay pride march that took place over the weekend, with not one word for or against it. What are your thoughts on the LGBTQ's Human Rights March this weekend? Even more, why has the church gone mum? And another high-end resort and residential development, this time in Exuma, owing the government millions of dollars in real property taxes. Inland Revenue says those owing have 2 weeks to settle on their homes, or those homes will go on the auction block. The question tonight, why did it take 12 years for authorities to act? It's all straight ahead tonight. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, gay pride and human rights, that was the theme this Saturday. In fact, it went viral. Several people sent me videos all throughout this morning and today. Participants took to the streets of New Providence on Saturday afternoon. The Christian Church in the Bahamas, as well as the Christian Council, are obviously in support of demonstrations of gay pride. Or are they? Well, we're going to get in right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Father Bradley Miller, he is the priest of the All Saints Anglican Church. Thank you very much, Father, for being here. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
There's a feed, guys. There's a feed. Whatever that is, turn that on. There's something coming through the feed, and it's very disruptive. Good evening, Father.
Good evening, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you, sir. When did the church give approval for this gay march, this gay human rights march to happen?
I didn't know anything about it until you mentioned it to me, because I was away last week on a cruise.
No, it happened Saturday.
I was on holiday, and I never returned to the country until Saturday night. But I don't think, let me say, I don't think that the church has given any approval for any gay march. I believe I can speak for the Christian Church. I'm not the president of the Christian Council. I'm not the bishop of the Anglican Diocese, but I can assure you, I don't think that the church has given any approval. Now, one of the things that happened in our country, and I think a lot of this is coming from the United States and European country, where they are pushing this, in my view, this agenda is human rights. A lot of these stuff are coming under the guise of human rights. Now, while I get it and I understand that people have their God-given right and they have choices that they can choose, that's their decision. But I think as a country, the Bahamas, and I can only speak for the Bahamas, where I've born, raised all my life. I had opportunity to live in other countries, but I chose to come back to my country because I want to develop this country and advance a country where the country ought to go. I think we need to sometime, and it's probably from the political directive, we need to say, look, I was listening to a clip one time from an African country, one of the president in one of the countries of Africa, and he was saying to, I'm not sure it was whether Barack Obama or somebody who came to visit him, he said, look, what is your problem? It's not necessarily our problem. This is our culture. This is what we believe. This is what we subscribe to. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to say to these influence from outside that, look, this is our culture. This is what we subscribe to. We subscribe to the Christian principle. This is what we believe as a people. And we have to stand to that. We should not be falling to pressure from the outside world. We need to just stand and say, this is our culture. This is what we believe. This is who we are as a people. We do not accept this. Because there's no appetite. I believe I can say that there's no appetite for that kind of lifestyle in Obama. It's going to be one or two persons.
And surely every citizen and resident of this nation enjoy human rights, yes, and as enshrined by the Constitution. Well, we'll look further into the church and why the church is so silent on it. Because I'll tell you, you could drop a pin in the middle of Nassau and hear it. That's how silent the church is.
Well, I beg to differ, but anyway.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's move on to something really very, I guess, vexing for many and troubling to others. Let's look at Greencastle, South Eleuthera. By any estimation, it's a community in South Eleuthera that's in a lot of problems. Last weekend, TP gentlemen, last weekend there was a shooting. And some issue happening there. The weekend before that, there was a drive-by shooting, or perhaps a couple of weeks before that, a drive-by shooting. And then before that, two gentlemen struck in the crossfire, standing out there innocently on a Sunday afternoon, and they were shot. Yet, the complaint emerging from Greencastle Eleuthera in particular is that a lot of their issues are going unattended by police. Or police is not giving them, they feel, the respect that they are giving other areas of Eleuthera, other neighboring communities. I put this to a senior police officer. I'm still waiting a response. I was promised it will be looked into. However, let's talk about the issues plaguing Greencastle Eleuthera first, and then how residents there, and I ask you because you've been stationed in Greencastle Eleuthera for several years. As you can see, he is a priest, and also you hail from there. So residents have also reached out to you and expressed their concern. But let's just talk about what's going on in Greencastle that has turned it into one of the hot spots in South Eleuthera, crime-wise.
Well, let me begin by saying this, Shanique. I'm a former police officer. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with the police force. The police force is a wonderful organization. I respect the men and women of the police force. They're doing an excellent job in our country. I support the police force 110%. This particular incident has to be put in its context. It has to be put in its context. There was a shooting in Greencastle because a lot of people have reached out to me because I served there as a parish priest for 9 years. Just left there in 2021. That was my final year. There was a shooting in Greencastle. This shooting stemmed based on what I've received, all the information I've gathered, from some fight between some young boys. What I found amazing, what the people have problem with, there was a fight between some young boys. The daddy of one of the boys came into Greencastle, drove into somebody's yard, and opened fire on a group of young men sitting in the yard. One of the young men was shot. What is so sad about that is this, and these are what I've received. What is so sad about this, on the night of the shooting, the lady told me that they wanted to say, look, we want to press charge against these fellas. The night of the shooting, the guys who were shot were the ones who were locked up. They were locked up because of the fight that happened prior to. They were locked up. They were the one, as a matter of fact, they're charged before the court. They have to pay by the end of November, they have to pay, I think, some $500 a piece, or if not, they're going to do 2 years in jail. They charge the fellas, the victim were charged, but the other fellas who were fighting were not charged.
Were the other people from Greencastle?
No, the other people were from Tarpon Bay. This stemmed to some fight that led to Greencastle. And the father of one of the boys came into Greencastle.
From Tarpon Bay, allegedly, to Greencastle, opened fire on people in a yard and shot one.
Yes.
Now, the issue is that I've seen, and I've seen it several times on various social media platforms, and I'm sure this has reached out to you, and I have expressed it to senior command and awaiting a response, that no one from Tarpon Bay was questioned?
What I was informed,
or no one from Greencastle was questioned on what took place, something along those lines?
Well, let me get to that. Mm-hmm. What I was informed that on the night of the shooting, the people who were shot from Greencastle wanted to press charges against those from Tarpon Bay. The police, I'm told, tell them, no, you don't need to press charges. We have the boy locked up, which was an untruth. Because the guy left Eleuthera and went left and came into Nassau out of North Eleuthera. I'm told he's back in South Eleuthera, came back through Roxham, back in South Eleuthera. The police, I don't know, I stand to be corrected, the police have yet to have this boy charged. They're saying...
Allegedly, the person at the center of this fight that caused the shooting of a gentleman in Eleuthera, and several are now awaiting bail or to pay bail, he is moving about in Eleuthera tonight.
Yes. I'm told that they're saying, because the people are so angry because the police came 1 week later after the shooting just to take information concerning the shooting.
Why do you suppose the police is so laxed, allegedly, so lax when it comes to Greencastle matters, people of the South matters? Because we'll get to the issues plaguing that and what you think they stem from, those issues plaguing Greencastle in particular. But why do you think that they have taken this approach?
Well, I think there are two reasons. Of course, Greencastle had its challenges and have its challenges from time to time. We all know that. We're not going to run from that. The other thing is, and I said this publicly, and I've said this privately, and I will say it again. It is my view. I've served there for 9 years. I've made observation. I've spoken to persons, and I've said it, as I said, publicly and privately. I think that the police officers in South Eleuthera has become too familiar. They've been there too long. They need to be removed from where they are, and so that others can come in and sort of start afresh. Because I think they are, in my view, I think they are stigmatizing certain communities.
Mm-hmm. And develop their own prejudices.
And they develop their own prejudices based on either history or what is happening at the time. And that is a problem. And the people are very concerned. The people, it is to the point of, it's boiling up. Because this is one of the things that we have in our country. That's why we have all this murder in our country, because when people feel that they're not being fair in the justice system, people tend to take justice into their own hand. And that is not the country that we need. That is not the way we ought to go. And I think this is what's happening with the situation in Greencastle. People are angry. I had people been calling me every day on this way to the show. People call me, Father, you need to do this, you need to do that. We are angry. We need to respond. We're not getting that kind of response.
What do the people feel, and have they tried to speak with the police and say, listen, we feel as though it's quite unfair. It's an obvious imbalance of how you all police Greencastle or deal with matters as it relates to Greencastle versus, for example, a Tarpon Bay. And what do you think that is? Colorism, classism, what do you think that is?
I think it's just, I don't know if it's colorism or classism. I think it's just based on the history. Like I said, Greencastle was challenged before, but a lot of people don't know. I'm from Greencastle, and I can tell you this. Greencastle is a very unique community. It is a unique community that they're so close-knitted that if you and I go out and someone touch you, I have to defend you. That's the kind of community, that's how the community is. They look out for each other, they defend each other, and so sometimes I come across that, oh, these people always like to fight. But that's not the case.
Well, that reputation has stuck, and
Yes,
they have gained that reputation.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, it is something that needs to be addressed. Now, let's just deal with this first. Again, the community of Greencastle, Royal Bahamas Police Force, Commissioner of Police, they are calling for intervention on that level to the officers assigned, as you say, to that's South Eleuthera.
Yes.
They feel as though what is being done, the policing there, is not fair across the board. The people are at a tipping point. You certainly don't want something else to come out of the fact that the people are at a tipping point and feel as though they have no resolve, nowhere to turn when it comes to turning to the authorities. But what has happened in Greencastle? You said, okay, they're a bunch who like to cover for each other and like to look out for one another. But in all that is happening in Eleuthera, South Eleuthera included, and I'm talking about the economic opportunities, the fact that it's just so much wonderful opportunities that are there for the taking for anyone. Greencastle seems to be not quite interested in those opportunities. Shootouts, when you hear shootouts, I was told by someone, almost every young man in Greencastle itself own a gun or have access to it.
Oh, I don't know that.
This is what I was told.
Okay.
What is the issue there that somehow things have gotten out of control when it comes to law and order?
Well, I don't think things have gotten out of control.
Or to the wonderful, wonderful values that once defined that area.
Yeah, I think there is, like any area, there's this, in my generation, those things would have never happened because I'm from what I call the old school. You have the younger, in my view, quote unquote, children who haven't children. And so they need this kind of stability, they need this kind of direction, guidance to help people. The community is challenged.
In which ways?
The community is challenged. And challenged in terms of helping
economy, the jobs?
Oh, the economy is doing well now.
So people having sex irresponsibly, getting pregnant and just producing spawn.
But I don't think that's it. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Put it in those words.
But I think that, in every community there are mothers who are struggling with children, no father, who's struggling with children and has to raise these children. And sometimes some of them fall through the crack. That's just, that's not just unique to Greencastle.
No.
I mean, that's throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so Greencastle is no exception. But I think to get back to what with respect to the police, what has happened, they feel as if they're always being the one, as I said, because of its history, they've always been the one who seems to be prejudiced towards too. Oh, that's Greencastle, man. Let them fight. Let them do. Let them do. But the police has a responsibility.
Yeah.
The next week, a young man from Greencastle was caught with a gun and is serving 5 years in prison now. But this man is running around free. And I'm sure that the gun that he used is an unlicensed firearm.
So obviously there are questions to be asked. Obviously there's a disparity going on.
There is a disparity.
A major one, obviously.
And Shanique, I would say it, and I said it privately, and I'm saying it publicly. And I want the Commissioner of Police to hear me. He needs to move those officers out of South Eleuthera and send other officers. They have become too familiar. They have become lackluster.
Not even too familiar. They're refusing, obviously, to properly do their jobs now. Allegedly, according to what you are saying, they are basically refusing to carry out responsibility thoroughly as they should.
Right, because your job is to be done without fear or favor. It doesn't matter whether it is Greencastle, it is Roxham or Tappan Bay. When there's a complaint made, the police must act. The Police Act says that the police responsibility is the apprehension and defender of crime. That's their duty. When a complaint is made, the police ought to act. The police will not look at you because of your color. The police will not look at you because of your socio-economic background. The police will not look at you because of your political persuasion. The police must act. You put all those things aside and you act according to law. And I am saying, the people of Greencastle have reached out to me and they are very disturbed. They feel like justice is not being done to them.
Is it anywhere else in the South or obviously Greencastle is the headquarters for how they feel, and they have reason to, as they have expressed to Father Bradley Miller here, for how they feel. I've seen those very sentiments expressed on various platforms and various groups that this is the way they feel. So it's a legitimate concern. It's not something to brush to the side and ignore, because again, the people appear to be at a tipping point. But is there any other settlement in the South that also feel somehow marginalized, feel as though they are being not treated with the respect and regard as they should by police?
Yes, there are others who feel the same way. There are others who feel the same way. I've gotten a call on my way coming, others who feel the same way.
Wimsby, Deep Creek, where?
Wimsby, Deep Creek feel the same way.
Just those two?
Well, from what I've received.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure others may say it likewise, but I can only speak with those two because they're the two I've heard from. Mm-hmm. And people are very concerned. All the people in South Eleuthera want is to at least to do their job. Do your job without fear or favor. Let justice be done. Remove political persuasion, remove color, remove creed, remove all of this thing. Just do your job. And like I said, I think it's time for those in South to go, and you have a fresh breed.
I know we had
you need a fresh start.
You've made that very clear and repeated it several times on this show right now. A fresh start is needed with fresh police officers in South Eleuthera immediately. Officers, I see you, and so we will speak after. You invited on the show this evening tomorrow evening to come and address this and respond. However, I saw some pictures, I don't know if Justin was able to get them through and process them, of a gentleman with some bruises on him. What is that about? Even if we can't show it, if you can talk about it, what are the bruises about?
That is where it all started from.
Oh, this is the fight you're talking about?
This is the fight. This is where it all started from.
Okay.
You know, it started from that. You know, this guy, I was told, was just walking from Greencastle. Somebody even tapped me, they're doing some road work, and you know, they got an altercation, and fella literally beat him with a shovel.
Beat him with a shovel?
Yeah, so those pictures I showed you, that is what I received.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, those pictures were going widely in various groups as well. Circulating, I'm talking about. Father Miller, as we wrap up this segment this evening, if you could speak to the people of Greencastle, whom, particularly the young men, whom I feel as though also need addressing, and then speak to the police, I'd give you an opportunity to do so right here,
yes,
sir.
I want to say to the young men in Greencastle, listen, govern yourself accordingly. You ought to be governed by law. There's law that governs a country, there's standard, there's rule that makes a society function properly. And anytime you're outside of that rule, standard, and law, the society becomes in a chaos. So I'm calling upon the young men in Greencastle to cease and desist from your behavior. But I'm also calling upon the police to do your job. Do your job without fear and favor.
I wish you knew their names. Who is in charge of Eleuthera?
I don't know who's the officer in charge at this time.
You always
I've received some name, but I wish not to call any name on this show because it's nothing I can prove.
Yes.
And I wish not to implicate anybody.
Yes, sir.
But I'm calling upon the officers to please do a proper investigation. Even if people don't come forward and say, yes, I saw this guy shot this fella. The fella has a gun. A gun was fired. We need to find the gun. If he's only charged for possession of firearm, because I'm sure that is an unlicensed firearm. We cannot run a country where we allow people to parade around, pull guns, shoot when they want to shoot, and think that's the norm. That is not the norm in our society. And when people get by with things, what it does, it costs the other person to now want to seek justice. And what they do is seek justice in their own hand, which is not the way a country is supposed to run.
No, this is
a country is supposed to be run of law and order. And that's why we have all the killing in our country, you know.
Listen, and furthermore, I want to ask you this as we wrap up this segment. The father who allegedly came from Tarpon Bay and opened fire, has he, what's happening there? Was he arrested?
He's not been charged up to this point. He's not been charged up to this point. I'm told that the police are saying that nobody from Greencastle want to come forward.
Well, I can voice in Mayberry. You know, Barney, with that little one,
but
that one bullet.
I'm told that's not the case.
I see you. Carlisle, I see you. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, I just heard it. Listen, Father Bradley Miller, thank you so much. Mayberry, really, truly. Father Bradley Miller, thank you very much, sir, for stopping by to really speak to a very, an issue that's now boiling over. That must be addressed in South Eleuthera in Greencastle. Thank you, sir, very much for stopping by. When we come back, we're going to get into some hot topics and hear some opinions on this and other stories. And also a little bit later, the Rotary Club is here as well to talk about some major things that they have going on. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. To walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk. Four. Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave with $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along. Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played dropping quick 4. This 5K incoming clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long board.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Looking for that perfect carpet happy hour experience? Forge connections, fuel success, and feel the beat. Join 103.5 The Beat each and every Friday at Club Waterloo. RSVP now, limited spots available.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, just before we get into some hot topics, I want to update the interview you saw at the top of the show just before the break. Father Bradley Miller talking about the tense situation in Greencastle, Eleuthera versus the police, where they feel as though the police is quite selective and prejudiced towards exacting some of its duties. In fact, he's calling for the police officers who've been stationed in South Eleuthera for a long time, for years, really to be reassigned. However, though, I want to update that interview because there was a shooting incident that happened, I think it was last weekend, and he said that the suspects from Tarpon Bay have not been arrested. They have. And here is what it is. The suspect is charged with an attempted murder, possession of firearm with the intent to endanger a life. He was transported to New Providence via Bahamas Air and is now in custody. Again, that person was charged with 2 counts. One is attempted murder. Another is possession of firearm with the intent to endanger life. Okay, so that matter in Greencastle is progressing. You all saw the update right now from the police force. And he will be arraigned tomorrow, in fact. So he was brought here today, and he will be arraigned tomorrow. Okay, so just want you all to be aware of that. Father, you heard that? He's going to be arraigned tomorrow, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, let's just move on. I'm going to get right into the hot topics because we have a lot more still to go in tonight's show. So I'd like to welcome Beyond the Headlines contributors Leslie Miller and Ellington Ferguson. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
It's good. I don't think we need. Greencastle has issues. I feel as though the level of crime there certainly needs to be addressed on many levels. And if it needs to start with the police, then it needs to start there. So we don't have to say anything else about that. Let's just move forward, gentlemen. In the papers today, in Exuma, you saw Inland Revenue has been extremely busy. I mean, with force many times, really telling people, businesses in particular, you got to get up to date on this outstanding real property tax and VAT owing, et cetera, et cetera. Well, February Point, it's a high-end resort of and residences in Exuma, has been 12 years in arrears. In fact, the heads of agreement dictated that certain conditions be met. The developers were to honor the conditions in order to be exempted from paying real property taxes. Not sure how that was worked out, but it's the heads of agreement. Now, since that time, 12 years ago, and I'll just go into some detail then. What it required, the heads of agreement, is that they build a clubhouse, they build certain other amenities on there, a small boutique-style hotel, a number of things just to build out properly the area. And if you have been to February Point in Exuma, it is fantastic. It's a beautiful, beautiful, really just residential community right now on a nice beach in $1 million homes, very high-end living, but it was to be also an exclusive boutique resort, a number of things. Well, guess what? I talking not one nail. You all hear that, right? Nothing has been done in 12 years, nor has any taxes been paid because they didn't meet up to the heads of agreement and what was demanded there. Gentlemen, you saw the financial secretary through Inland Revenue say, listen, you all have 14 days. And if you don't pay up in 14 days, your houses and these things going on the auction block. Thoughts?
Once again, Shanique, it's unfortunate that this has been allowed to ride on for so long without anybody giving any oversight to this development. Too often here in the Bahamas, when we sign these head of agreement and these people walk away from the table, they go away from the table and there's no government watchdog, no department oversight to ensure that these people do all that they have purpose or all they have agreed to do and gotten millions of dollars in concessions from the Bahamian people. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's unfortunate that this has gone on so long. I love, of course, the diplomacy that the Inland Revenue is now using. They say he called them in, he called them down to Nassau. They had
you
a
think
meeting.
They went there with guns the way they did?
That is what I'm saying. I'm wondering if this is a difference in the persons that they're dealing with, or if they have changed their modus operandi from the last time we dealt with this. And so I welcome this. If this is the way going forward, I welcome it. But it's unfortunate that it's been allowed to go on. We've got to do a better job in monitoring, managing, and policing these developments when we sign these heads of agreements. We give them millions of dollars in concession to make things happen. And they agreed to hire over 100 and something persons in the construction field. Nothing of that never happened. Not one building gone up short over 10 years.
Yes, it's
egregious.
It is egregious because the thing is, the people see something they could take advantage of, make vain and empty promises, vague promises. We fall for it every time, every single time, heads of agreement after heads of agreement, and they get by.
And I'm going to tell you this, the world is just a small community these days. And so when one investigate over our leaders and run roughshod over our leaders, the rest of the world sees that daily. They know what's happening in many cases more than us when you talk about development and this scale of money. They know exactly what's happening. They know how easy it is to get over Bahamian officials as it relates to these things, and they get away with foolishness like they always get away with. Hotels come here, be here for years, fold up, leaving, end up owing the government millions of dollars.
Holiday Inn and the others.
All the Crystal Palace and all those other places.
Leslie, you're saying Holiday Inn and all the others that were here have left, packed up and left, and
millions of dollars.
And still owing taxes?
This is really par for the course what is happening at February Point. You know, I remember when we formed the Bahamas Development Corporation in 1975, we opened our doors in January. And for about 2 or 3 years, we were signing all kind of heads of agreement, the government was, that is, with developers for the family islands, etc. And little work was done. On Mr. Francis, who was the chairman at that time, God bless him, Carlton Francis, sent us up to Cincinnati, the company that was representing the Bahamas, in getting a lot of these deals done. And they informed us that, we saw a paper actually, we brought back a paper that we got from one of the workers there that said Bahamians like big numbers. So when you go to the Bahamas, talk about big numbers. If you're gonna invest $50 million, make it 100.
Oh,
if you're gonna employ 100 people, make it 300.
So
they like numbers.
Okay?
Oh,
okay.
So it's a little gimmick that they do.
Yes,
we love numbers.
Yes.
And then to sweeten the pot, they will go to the MP for that area and say, we're gonna hire 10 of your people. Send me, 20 people to hire. All maids, of course. People,
of course, yeah.
making
Can I help you? How you want this team?
Money. But it's a con game that they've run us for years now.
Why is it that we settle to enslave our people on these hotel properties?
Because I told you before, when you look at the dictionary for the word jackass, Bahamians put up their hands. It's me, it's me, it's me. All right? And the fellas say, that's the fellas I won't go deal with. Now what has happened over the years really has been the fact that the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Finance has not put in place the necessary mechanism to safeguard what we put into the heads of agreement. Heads of agreements are very dangerous, by the way, because they circumvent the tax laws of our country. How could it be that these people in February Point has done nothing for 12 years?
Nothing.
Okay? Never executed the full ramifications of the agreement that was signed. And no one has paid no attention to them in 12 years?
No one.
You can't really blame, you got to blame the system.
Yeah, that's who you blame.
The Ministry of Tourism has an obligation to the Bahamian people. And what is more egregious, everything they bought was duty free. For example, all the mattresses, all the furniture.
Everything.
But we have a furniture factory and we said that the products that are produced in the Bahamas, you must purchase those products. They're not going to be bought in duty free. What happened? Under the damn agreement, they bring in everything duty free because the guy in tourism is so excited that it's a project going to some family island that his people are going to benefit. Well, worse than that, the owner, the fellow in charge is saying that they have a pool, a rental pool. So all the houses that they construct goes into this rental pool.
Yep,
now,
that's what happened.
Where do they rent these places? On the internet in the States, Canada, and elsewhere.
Yeah, but
so no benefits come to the Bahamas.
None of the money never
Bahamians can afford to live February Point.
No benefits come here, including paying the taxes that is necessary, even that. And they work around us. And that depends on who you send there. They show the guy a good time, give him a nice room, have him come for the weekend. The fellow just forget about it and come back the next year.
You must know exactly how it
I'm
works.
happy that the Ministry of Finance and Mr. Simon Woods has taken this stand, as well as the gentleman from VAT, that it's time to stop. These are multi-million-dollar homes.
And they can afford to pay.
Cost up to $6 million. These are wealthy people.
Yes.
But they take advantage of the system because so many loopholes within the system that we are so happy that they are here. But they're not doing us any favors.
Not necessarily
They're not bringing a
loopholes,
damn thing
Leslie.
to
It's
the
slackness.
Bahamas.
We have the requisite law in there to govern these
Yes.
things, but it's the slackness of adhering, of upholding these laws. It's not necessarily
And they don't
loopholes.
ensure that any benefits accrue to local manufacturing in the Bahamas.
No.
Here's the Prime Minister and his government saying, now they want to diversify our economic base. They want to expand the economy. How the hell do you expand the economy when land will bring in everything and we produce duty-free? You're hurting us. You're running us out of business.
Absolutely. If you all have
That's what you're doing.
If you all have never visited February Point, save up,
Okay.
because that's what you're gonna have to do. You can't just go there like that. You gotta
And
save
the
up
main
and experience
culprits
it.
in this is the Ministry of Works, the corporation that never buys anything Bahamian. Okay? So they are putting us in a position that we can't even compete any longer on giving the guy duty-free access. And in some cases, giving them funding to promote their projects.
Yes.
Like was done to run Bimini World. They were getting $12 million a year and wasn't performing. I mean, we got to be the dumbest jackasses on the face of this earth for the things that we do sometimes.
Well, Leslie, because
know?
we're desperate for the investments, we're desperate for the jobs, we're desperate to say the economy is doing well, but meanwhile, the working class, the working poor is expanding.
But it's all a mirage.
That
For their benefits, not ours.
That part.
Even if you're going to give concessions, I think that's fine and that
Gotta
has
be monitored.
its place. But where things like Leslie alluded to that we produce mattresses here. Nobody should be given a concession to bring in mattress. Okay, you get the mattress that we produce, or if you want to bring in your mattress, then you pay duty on that. The concession does not apply to stuff that we produce.
But the problem is the government entities themselves don't support local products.
So true.
None of them, not a damn one.
Well, I mean,
The Ministry of Education and all the rest. The Ministry of Health, none of them support local products. None. So how the hell are you going to expand your base and diversify your economy when you are the government and you're doing the opposite? How you can do it? That's lip service.
It's hypocritical.
So stop playing games with people, man. Say, do not try to produce import substitution entities because we're not going to buy it from you. If it don't come from over the bar, it ain't no good. And I told you before, they can have their stamps on these damn baby sips soon. Made in China, made everywhere else except the Bahamas.
Anything
and they're the ones
foreign.
we're going to love.
Anything foreign.
Because if it ain't foreign, we don't want it.
Anything foreign.
That's our mindset.
Leslie in Ellington, listen, speaking of, should there be a commission of inquiry into Dorian? This is what Bishop Simeon Hall is calling for, the hurricane. The hurricane from 2019. That's another thing from 2019, right? Now, Prime Minister Davis, you told I was trying to call somebody naming. Who you know?
Dora.
No. So, so listen, Prime Minister Davis says, no, that's a waste of resources. In fact, his thing is trying to really improve the Bahamian people's lives. It's not a misplaced focus, I'll tell you that, because Bahamians are hurting. But let's just look at what Bishop Simeon Hall is calling for. I am not sure if he wants perhaps things brought to the forefront that we've been hearing sip about or whatever, but do you all think really that a commission of inquiry is warranted into Dorian?
No, Shanique, I don't think. I support the Prime Minister in his response to that wholeheartedly, 100%. I think it will be a misplaced priority at this point. It will be a waste of precious resources, as tight as things is right now, to place that additional tax burden on the backs of Bahamian to spend millions of dollars into a commission inquiry. No, the Prime Minister is committed that there will be ongoing investigation to actually determine what happened and how can we avoid it going forward.
How can we strengthen, our responses and that kind of thing?
Yeah, that. But to go put resources and time and energy and effort, it'll be misplaced. It'll be a distraction for this government and consequently for the people of the Bahamas at this point. No.
I'm not sure as to how much time, money, and effort is going to be put in the commission of inquiry. But I will say one thing. Every Bahamian has the right to know which one of my family members I've never seen again since the damn hurricane. They have a right to know that. And the government has a responsibility to get the facts to give to those people who have lost their loved ones in that Hurricane Dorian. The facts are the facts. Now, however you want to put it, commission of inquiry, however you want to do it, it should be done to enable those people to sleep at night, to know that my sister, my brother, my grandma, my auntie went to sea. Like when I went down there during the hurricane the day after. And we met a guy in West End, Grand Bahama, a gentleman that's sitting there by himself. And we started to talk. And I said, Chief, how you doing? He said, my family went to sea. I said, what do you mean to sea? Man, they went fishing. He said, no. See, the water came and took my grandfather, my grandmother, and 2 others. I said, took them where? Took them out to sea. But that's how, you know, there's a lose a family member. And today, you don't know how many persons went missing in a hurricane. The FNM did a lousy job. All they ready was give our money to damn white people out life at key. And that hasn't been accounted for yet. There should be a system in place, and the Prime Minister said that the committee that is formed will get to the bottom of it. I hope to get to the bottom of it more sooner than later, because that's been several years now, And people are still there wondering what happened to my family member. They have a right to know.
You make a point.
They have a right to know. Don't tell me what it costs.
You make a point.
I have a right to know.
We will see exactly where that goes. Right. I think the people on either side of that argument, but Leslie, you make a point for it.
I have a right to know.
Thank you both very much.
Not to do no money.
We'll pick up on some discussions later this week. Meanwhile, though, you guys don't go anywhere, because the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM. They're coming up today.
Nassau
the way
in
they
the morning.
during the break. Y'all have no idea. Stay close.
It's version being down there.
Yeah, that's what they call boxing gloves.
Man, what is called break up, man? It's called dirty and the car place right across from this, dude. 0 down.
At Montague Motors, we offer a wide variety of vehicles for an affordable price.
Well, look at you, man. This is a brand new car. You can't talk to you no more.
Montague Motors is located on Village Road North, just before the Shirley Street stoplight.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, presents the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Sean, Shine 242, The Falcons, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Racers Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack location. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the best of the best Rake and Scrape Reloaded on November 2nd at Breezes.
The Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM has been busy doing a number of major projects that impact daily lives here in the nation. They have been busy and they are they're not new to the fabric of the life of the Bahamas. They have been making an impact, members, of course, with various outreach programs. This year, they are focused in on feeding the family. You all know what the issues are. The lines for food, for grocery items, for families and professionals and single people. The lines are growing because many Bahamians find themselves unable to make ends meet. Well, we have with us this evening the President, President Dwayne Brown, and also the President-elect. He is the incoming President, Randall Dorset. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you both here.
Good evening. It's good to be here.
Listen, Kiwanis Club is one of those organizations, like many others in this nation, who really do good. They really make it their intention to have outreach programs that impact the Bahamas, impact lives, and reach those who need it most. You've done a number of things, like, for example, a reading program that was highly impactful and very, very stressful. A number of also other programs that you have that you can kind of check off and say, yes, we've done that. Something that I want to focus on, especially in the time that we have here in this segment, is your project now to feed the family. Why was that a focus right now, and what made it so urgent in 2024 at this juncture?
Okay, President. I would say the Feed the Family was started in 2012 by Mr. Barry Wilmot. Him as a youngster growing up, he didn't have the necessary, like his family wasn't able to afford a full course meal. So the Feed the Family started off by, we would have 100 families we identify. We would have 100 ham, 100 turkey, 100 pound of macaroni, 100 pot of rice. We would get sodas sponsored by, a soda company. I don't want to call the name. I don't know if it's okay for me to call the name, but a soda company would sponsor our sodas. And we would go out on trucks and we would deliver these meals. I could remember one particular year we delivered a meal to a family. And the little boy came running outside. All of us had on our Kiwanis shirts and our Santa Claus red and white hats. And he was like, Grammy. They bringing us food. I tell you, Santa Claus, God is real. And listen to me, man. Everybody was just washing tears.
No, you all were stunned at that.
Listen, everyone was washing tears. And when we went in their house, they didn't have anything in their cupboards. So this is why we decided to make a twist. Because once you don't eat the food that day,
that's it.
January, we call January the longest month. So we decided to put a twist on it, and we started doing food parcels. We started giving you grocery items to take you throughout the entire month of January and even into February. So this is how we do to Feed the Family now. And this year, we decided to put a twist on it, and we're going to the Family Island to do it because everybody is feeding.
So you're not just going to focus here on New Providence, but you are saying even those family islands that are identified where people need help.
Yes.
That is amazing.
We are planning on doing it on the Family Island this year.
Which islands you are focusing on right now?
We're going to Eleuthera. We're actually going to Eleuthera. We're going to do North and South Eleuthera this particular year. That is our plan, yes.
That is really awesome.
Yes.
President-elect Dorset, to hear a kid during obviously the holiday season where everybody wants something, and you heard him saying his grandmother obviously telling him, Santa Claus is going to bring this, and he said, no, Santa Claus, God did this.
God did this.
How does it feel to go and put food, hot meals into the bodies and the stomachs of children and mothers and fathers who can't afford it and don't know how to look their kids in the eyes? To say that they can't afford it, or perhaps just feel embarrassed to do so, but then to help them put a smile and bring comfort to their kids.
Shanique, it is heartwarming. It is an awesome feeling.
Yes.
As our motto is, serving the children of the world, it is our pleasure to be able to provide that kind of giving from our hearts, even during the holiday season when we could be with our own families, but we could bring light and joy to people, and we could see those smiles on the children's faces, and they could look forward to having something in January and February, and then we try to keep that continuous.
And
so
you know, I
beautiful.
commend you all. You bet, I commend you all, because those are the months that people, you may say Christmas they need it, December, but boy, January look like it just goes on. And then February. So the fact that you all are stepping in at that crucial time for families is really amazing.
Absolutely. And so it only encapsulates a small amount of the projects that we do. We volunteer every week. We have reading programs every week. We have SLP programs.
I wanted to talk about the reading programs.
Absolutely. So we have student leadership programs, which are in 11 schools in New Providence. And so the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM sponsors 11 schools in New Providence. And so we take our time with our key clubs, our builders clubs, and our K-Kids, which are our darlings, you know. So we start from preschool, and then we go up to the builders club, which is our middle school, and then high school, which is Key Club. So we love kids. We love them, and we want.
You really are out there in the community. I smile because the Key Club has been around forever. I did not know it was your sister, you know, or your sort of junior arm. Let's just talk about the importance of getting kids, students, excited about reading. I imagine perhaps if adults need it as well, but it's important because we see this national grade point average that continues to hover where it's hovering. How important is it to try and do your part to get them to discover the joys of reading and then understand where that can take them eventually?
Well, definitely reading is fundamental. I think we stick that. We don't get away from that. And in a society where so many things are just TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, you don't have the time to actually, we don't pick up a book anymore to say, let me go in Barnes and Noble or Nassau Christian bookstore.
Barnes and Noble anymore?
Nassau Christian bookstore. And so we have made it our mandate that we are going into these schools at a young age, because we may not be able to get, once people are ready, too far gone, but we want to start it as young as possible. We want to start to ingrain the culture of reading, ingrain the culture of education, ingrain the culture of being helpful to your community, being better, more intelligent, intellectual people of society.
It's important because all of us have become too influenced by all the wrong things. And to have wonderful influences like you all to go in and reach back and try and help young people realize that, listen, there's more to this little temporary high that you're on TikTok or on whichever other app, platform it is. The point is just learn some additional skills and make this work for you, because people are becoming wealthy of various various platforms. So we know that. But then how to use it, how to properly work it is what's key now. You also have other things to keep other people engaged. For example, upcoming projects like your bingo nights and all the rest of it. Talk about that.
Well, the Kiwanis Club of Nassau, we always believe in assisting like those less fortunate, the Cancer Society. As a matter of fact, yesterday, while everybody was, on the beach enjoying themselves, we were actually doing a fundraiser for the Center for the Blind and the Visually Impaired. They had a fundraiser on the Centerville Park yesterday, and the Kiwanis Club of Nassau, and we sponsored the entire thing. When I say the entire thing, we had the popcorn machine, the hot dog machine, the snow cone machine, and they didn't have to spend $1 on these things. We purchased everything.
And speaking of high achievers, you all, I know you've seen, and I've been so happy over the years to interview some of them. There are some high achievers in the Center for the Deaf and Visually Impaired. I mean, some of them are doing master's degrees and just really doing extremely well and trying themselves to make a contribution back to society.
Yes, Mom. And in basically every family, there's someone who had someone who died by cancer. So that's why we always decide to assist the Cancer Society. Every year when they have their bingo, we would go there and we would assist them by, doing being runners, distributing the cards. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing what we do. we love to give back. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about this food drive, because I'll tell you all, while their membership obviously works very, very hard to everybody make a donation, etc. This is a chance, though, for you to give back to something that's bigger than you. Something really that you help make a family smile, not just this holiday season, but even the beginning of 2025, so that they start the year off right. They start the year off with a pantry with grocery in it. How can people participate? How can they reach out to the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM? How can this happen so that you make it a huge effort and obviously something that is hugely impactful?
So definitely, we meet every Monday at 7 p.m. at the Bahamas Red Cross on JFK. And so you can get in contact with any member of the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM, President Dwayne Brown, the Secretary, Triada Dorset, as well as any member. We are always looking for help. Another plug about the Feed the Family, what we added within the last few years, is that we actually, on Boxing Day, is that we partner with First Baptist. And so what we do on Boxing Day after the Junction Parade is that we feed the whole community of the Grove and Angliston.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so you have
early in the morning like that.
Early in the morning, about by 12 o'clock, First Baptist deals with all the cooking. We provide all the hams, turkeys, and everything.
Yes.
We bring everything on right in their parking lot. We set up bouncing castles. We give,
After you all go on Bay Street, that's
after
the
we
F
go
group.
on the big group.
I see y'all looking, you know.
No, it's a big group now.
Yeah, no, huge, major group, just big group.
1958, right?
Yeah, that's a big group.
And so we go out there in the parking lot and we have music, we have everything.
That's so good to take it to the Grove.
Absolutely, take it to the Grove.
That's
Take it to the
Take
Grove,
it to the
absolutely.
Grove, yeah.
And what we are doing right now, we have our block drive sheets coming out.
Yes.
They are $5 a block.
Yes.
So when you see us come up with our block drive sheets, it's to feed these persons on the family islands and also here.
So it's for a good effort.
It's for a good effort.
It's for a good effort, you guys. It ain't for them to go on Bay Street and a lot of
No. So please.
But the point is, listen, how can people reach out to the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM? How can people reach out to you and also your social media handles?
Right. And so we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM. You can reach those at any time and those direct message to our secretary. Also our email, Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM at gmail.com.
Yes.
Kiwanis, spell it.
Kiwanis.
K-I-W-A-N-I-S.
Club, C-L-U-B, of Nassau AM at Gmail.
Yes.
Yes, nobody want to give a number, eh?
Well, you could take my number, 557-2353. I'm always available.
Yeah.
557-2353.
Yes.
Listen, you all, yes, President-elect Dorset. Listen, you all, you know, just it feels so good to give back, and it feels good to know that you are doing something for a family who cannot afford it and at a place in their lives where things are a little tight. And so therefore you will help bring a smile to their faces. Gentlemen, I thank you both very much. These are the executives of the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM talking about their food drive. Really for beyond the holiday. They help families get a good start for the new year. And right now, 2025, perhaps your family will be there and be able to benefit as well. And so thank you, gentlemen, once again. President Dwayne Brown.
Thank you for having us.
President-elect Randall Dorset.
Thank you very much.
Both Absolutely.
All right.
I want to thank, of course, Father Bradley Miller, Leslie Miller, and also Ellington Ferguson, and obviously these gentlemen here from the Kiwanis Club of Nassau AM. And also thank all of you this evening for tuning in. We really, really enjoyed having you along. And we look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.